Today we are putting together some protein bowls. This is meal prep made super simple because we're gonna do 28, which is a month's worth really, of these protein bowls in about an hour and a half. Now that doesn't include prep time, so this is something that is totally doable. You can have these in your freezer ready to pull out whenever you need them. My husband, some of you know him as Mr. Freezer Meals 101, has been working out a lot more lately, and so he's finding that he needs to add more protein in his diet. So he asked if I could think of a way to put something together for him that would just make it easier, and this is our solution. These protein bowls have flavor, they have a variety, and they're pretty healthy. So this is gonna be a great, easy way for him to incorporate more protein into his diet without adding a lot more time. So if you're looking for something similar, then follow along with me today as we get these made and into our freezer so that the rest of the month is easy peasy. To prep for these, one of the things that I did is made Kahlua pork in the slow cooker. This is so easy, it's 3 ingredients. All you do is throw a pork roast in there, add some salt, liquid smoke, turn it on to low, and it can just do its thing while you do the rest of your prep. Now, I actually had a Kahlua pork in the freezer as a freezer meal, and so I was able to just dump that in there, making it even easier, and then I could go along with the rest of my things. The next thing you're going to want to do is cook some chicken. Now, I did mine in the Instant Pot. I got a full Costco tray of chicken breasts, threw that whole thing into the Instant Pot with a little tiny bit of water, and I put it on manual release for 8 minutes, and then it was done, and I could just allow that to cool a bit before I cubed it. Then I got it cubed and got it into the fridge, because when you're making these for the freezer, you don't want to add any ingredients that are warm. If you add warm ingredients into your little meal prep bowls, then you're going to create condensation that will lead to freezer burn, and we don't want that. So now you've got chicken done, your Kahlua pork working its thing over in your slow cooker, and you're gonna move on to your sausages. I got these sausages at Costco. They are a chicken feta and spinach sausage, and I just cooked them up in a skillet for about 10 minutes, turning them here and there to brown them a little bit. Let them cool for a bit, and then sliced them, so those would be ready. The last thing that I prepped was I roasted some vegetables. I had done some freezer meals for a friend of mine, and when I was prepping the vegetables for that, I just went ahead and peeled and diced some extras so that I would have them for these meal prep bowls. So I put whatever sweet potatoes, butternut squash, and zucchini that I had left over from that onto a baking sheet, sprayed them with a bit of oil, and got those in the oven at 400 degrees. They were actually cooking while the chicken was cooking and while I was browning my sausages on the stove. So I was able to get the majority of this prep all done completely in about 20 minutes. Then I was able to get those roasted vegetables, my cooked cube chicken, and my chicken sausages that were sliced into the fridge and ready for the next day when I was assembling these. The pork took longer, but once it was done, I shredded it and got it in the fridge. I actually just was like, full disclosure here, it was late and I was tired, so I just grabbed the whole crock pot out of the base and put it into the fridge with the lid on it, and I was like, I'm gonna deal with that tomorrow. Anyway, now when it was time to assemble these meals, I had everything completely ready. Another thing I had done when I was at Costco is I had bought the frozen cauliflower rice. I had also bought some frozen vegetables, a big giant bag, and the cauliflower rice was the giant bag as well. I didn't use even half of each of those bags, so I still have lots left over where I could make these again next month, because these ingredients can just sit in my freezer. So this is great, and it was really cost effective to do it that way as well. So in my first containers, I lay down some of that cauliflower rice. Then I added a cup of that cooked cube chicken into each container and some of those frozen vegetables. I put some jarred pasta sauce on top of that, so super, super easy, and just the slightest sprinkle of Parmesan cheese on both the vegetables and the chicken. So these will kind of be like a marinara chicken bowl thingy. And with the cauliflower rice in there, if you wanted, you could substitute a brown or white rice instead. But my husband preferred to do these with a cauliflower rice. So that's what we're doing today. When you are done with that, what you want to do is you want to take some plastic wrap and lay the plastic wrap directly on top of the food. You don't want to put it so that there's air in between the plastic wrap and the container. You want to lay the wrap right down on top of the food, because when you're freezer cooking, air causes freezer burn, and by putting the plastic wrap right on the food here before we add the lids, we're able to prevent most of that freezer burn from happening, and these are gonna last a lot longer and they're gonna taste better. So we've got 4 meals already done, and that was super fast. We're gonna now take some of that chicken and put it in another bowl and add some Frank's Red Hot to it. And then we're gonna put some quinoa in the bottom of 4 containers. I forgot to mention that when I was doing all the rest of my prep, I cooked up some quinoa and put that in the fridge, so it's all nice and cooled and ready here. Then on top of the quinoa, we're gonna add that buffalo chicken and some of our roasted sweet potato, and I did sprinkle a bit of basil just on the sweet potato there to give it a bit more flavor. And we're gonna add the plastic wrap to those, put the lids on, and 4 more meals totally done and ready to go. We're gonna finish off our chicken now with some lemon pepper chicken. So into our bowl, we're gonna add our chicken, some lemon juice, bit of minced garlic, some lemon pepper seasoning, and a little splash of cayenne pepper. Mix that together really well, and then we're going to put those, for these ones, I did half of them with quinoa on the bottom and half of them with cauliflower rice, and then lay the lemon pepper chicken on top of that. Added some of those frozen vegetables, and then I sprinkled some lemon pepper on top of the vegetables, again to give it a bit more flavor, and then just covered them again in plastic wrap and replaced the lids. Now all of our chicken is done and we can move on. We're gonna move on to our chicken sausage. For the chicken sausage, I just added the sausage and the roasted vegetables. That was the roasted sweet potato, squash, and zucchini, and then added some Cajun seasoning to that. I think the Cajun seasoning is gonna go really nicely both with the vegetables and with the sausage. I think this is gonna be a really flavorful one. I did 4 of those, so we've got quite a lot of meals already, and it's going really quickly. Next, we're gonna move on to our pork. The first pork meal that I made was a pulled pork burrito bowl. Now, you could also make these burrito bowls with chicken, and I decided after I made these that if I did them with chicken, I would sprinkle them with some cheddar cheese afterwards, so that's an option for you too if you're doing these. And you could do these on your cauliflower rice, regular rice, or quinoa. For these, what I did is I added the pulled pork, some drained and rinsed black beans, some drained corn, and a bit of salsa. The salsa is going to give the flavor in this, as well as that pulled pork, of course, and I think it's going to come together really, really nicely. This is going to be one, again, that you could change up so many different ways. On the day you serve this, you could add some fresh avocado and cilantro after you heat it. You could add some fresh tomato. You could add in some shredded lettuce. There's so many ways that you could change this one up on the day of serving, so I don't think it would ever get boring. And again, you could do these burrito bowls with chicken instead. In these next bowls, we're gonna use our pork again. We're gonna have some cauliflower rice in the bowls, and then we're gonna add some of that frozen stir-fry vegetable combination, some of that pulled pork, and then we're just going to add on some thick teriyaki sauce. Now, I only added the teriyaki sauce on top of the pork, but after you heat this, you could stir that around to coat your vegetables if you like. For these last 4 bowls, I'm actually gonna do a vegetarian version of a protein bowl, and this is gonna be hot honey chickpeas. So in a bowl, we are going to mix together some drained and rinsed chickpeas, minced garlic, honey that's melted, sriracha sauce, salt, pepper. You can also add a little bit of cayenne here, which I did because we like things spicy. And then I spooned these into the meal prep containers along with what I had left of our roasted vegetables. I also took any leftover sauce that I had from the chickpeas and spooned that onto the vegetables. Now, after I was done these, I was wishing that I had added a bed of quinoa or cauliflower rice to them, but it was too late. So next time I know that these need a little bit of bulking up, in my opinion. Of course, we've got the cauliflower rice in the freezer, so if my husband wants, he can go grab some of that and add these to the bowl on the day he goes to eat them. But it's just something that I would do differently if I'm doing this again. This is one where you could also add some shredded carrots, and if I had had some on hand, I probably would have added those into the chickpeas. I think it would go really well, especially if you were doing it on rice or cauliflower rice. So now you've got 28 bowls, and these protein bowls, for all being protein bowls, there's quite a lot of variety here. You've got lots of different proteins, you got lots of different veg options. Now, for any of these, you could substitute out the vegetables that I used with any other frozen vegetable. We had talked about, potentially doing like snap peas, you could do peas, you could do green beans. There's so many options, kind of the sky's the limit. You could do Brussels sprouts. So there's a lot of different versatility here when you're making your protein bowls. Hopefully, as you watched what I did, you were able to see how you could change things up and make these unique to your own personal tastes. You can check our Amazon store. The description is in the link below if you're looking for where to purchase those meal prep containers. The thing I really like about the meal prep containers is that they're dishwasher safe, which I love. They are microwave safe and freezer safe. So this is something where if you're bringing these to work for lunch and you've got a microwave there, you can reheat them right there, and then you can bring it home, toss it in the dishwasher, and reuse it. So that's really, really nice. If you are looking for more meal for one ideas, I'm gonna pop a video right there where we have so many other options of individual freezer meals. I hope this has helped you out if you're looking to add a little bit more protein into your diet, or if you're looking for individual freezer meal ideas or lunch ideas. Thank you so much for being with me, and happy cooking.